Test, test. Oh, there we go. All right. You should be able to hear me now, Zombie. Hello. Awesome. Hey, restarting the stream. I'm Dune, and this is Factorio Megabase. Welcome. The default settings I was using for my microphone are in the Streamlabs OBS software. Was working just fine, but now I had to actually set that it was my Blue Yeti microphone. So anyways, oh, I was answering your question, Zombie, on waypoints. These are what I call waypoints. Factorio does not come inherently with waypoints. Most train games have waypoints, at least every one I've ever played other than Factorio. And there are ways of routing your trains. And if you put the since Factorio doesn't have it, the only way to do it is with a train station, and then you set your train to go there and then give it a 0-second time delay, or inactivity 0 seconds or something like that. And then the train just stops there briefly and then moves on. So for instance, all my plastic trains come to this station. And so my plastic assembly is, outposts down here. What they would do otherwise is they would come up and then they move over and then they go up and then they move over and then they go up. And so what I do is I have them just go straight all the way up, stop at this waypoint, and then come across. And vice versa, when they're on their way back, is they come down and hit this and then go all the way down. And I do that multiple places. The reason why the station is off the main track is because trains will go out of their way. If they don't have that station in their schedule, they will go completely out of their way to avoid that station on that track. So if you just make that little extra outward loop, side rail or whatever you want to call it, then the trains that want to go through can, and those that have the assigned waypoint can do that too. Does that make sense? I've not seen anybody else do it, honestly, but I don't also see people running megabases. Most of the time when people are playing Factorio, they're playing beginner boards, that's only been up for 5 to 10 hours. And their maps rarely get to a size. I mean, if you see it, like if you play any of the explosive gaming maps, you might see somebody that will explore like way out on just one rail, way out, one direction. But they don't have really a well-built map. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, given time and effort, and I have seen a few. But for me, it's not as fun for me that, because they're explosive gaming maps. I mean, they're fun, but at the same time, it's going to be deleted within 3 days, and that's I want to play more. So this for me is a lot of fun. I mean, the thing I love about Factorio is that for me it just gets more fun the longer the game is. I mean, I have 290 some trains on this map, and that's just incredible. And I'm probably about to add some more. I'm wanting to, a couple episodes ago, I built a new outpost type that just does petroleum. Brings in oil, refines it, cracks it, and then outputs it both sides. Now I want to build a plastic factory. My current plastic has this huge refinery here with cracking and so forth. But then it has a hard time getting the petroleum on to the station. Pipes in this game are, I don't know, they're difficult. Really difficult. I mean, you could put pumps all over the place, and it's just like, we got, a fair amount of petroleum here, but getting it to this one is difficult. So I figured if I have a train on either end that has petroleum, I'm hoping we'll solve that problem. And so you can see I'm somewhat backed up on, being able to handle multiple plastic trains, even though I've got a fair amount of plastic made. Maybe 2 outposts making plastic would really help. What's my power like? Currently running 18 gigawatts. 19. I'm just kind of migrating to a mod called the Advanced Solar mod. It makes these advanced solar panels. These are the original ones. These ones are, this is the medium version, which is like 5 times the efficiency of the regular one, and it costs 5 of the regular one. And then the elite solar panel is 5 of the medium advanced ones, and a productivity module and some steel plate to make. So it's 25 times more efficient. So maximum output per each is 1.5 megawatts. I think that's a little OP for its cost. But this whole thing right here, the old solar panels with 1.2 gigawatts, I find that ridiculously inefficient. I mean, where a small nuclear plant produces 1.4 gigawatts. I wanted something like that, so I'm in the process of upgrading this. So it's a work in progress. But when the accumulators are full, then it's down to about 15 gigawatts. So I want this plastic somewhat near this red circuit. And there's so many lakes here. It's hardly a good place for it. Maybe like right here. There's no ore. And it's relatively near, pretty much unused track here. If it gets under 20, above 20, it's not. I mean, it's obviously it's not as good as 60, but definitely when it gets below 20, it feels like you're crawling. Somebody a few episodes back mentioned I should switch from belt mining to RoboPort mining. to increase that. So all new mining operations, I'm doing roboports. Hopefully that will improve that. If I don't do direct insertion, this is direct insertion mining. Actually, I kind of need to work on this one. These three have disappeared. Still working, but it could be better. Where's that? Iron ore 78. No, that's not where I wanted to go to. It's this one I want to go to. 71. And also switching to solar panels. Have I been playing? How long have I been playing Factorio? At least 6 months. I suppose I could look on Steam to see when I bought the game. Factorio. Wonder where I find when I purchased it. It's probably in my account. Got details. It's got to be a purchase history or something. How did I find out about the game? I was just looking on Steam one day and looking at games that, you know, have similar interest to games I like or liked already. So, you know, I saw it was $20. I gave it a go. It worked, you know. It was so incredible from the very get-go. I mean, even though I didn't know what I was doing, I was enjoying spaghetti builds, and it's, I don't know, I've never had more fun in a game than that. And then I'm a computer engineer by training, and I've always loved like civilization games or city building games or space sim games where you build a civilization or conquer a universe, you know, something like that. So, you know, this Factorial is just sort of, and I've always loved trains. So Factorio, I mean, the more you play it, uh, the more fun it is. So I purchased the game in October of 2017. So what does that make it? 8 months ish. And I've pretty much played nothing else since I started playing it. Now, of course, you know, I would say this is, of course, my biggest mega base. My previous one, uh, there was no uranium. Even though I had normal uranium settings, no uranium was popping up. So I literally had to do all my power with solar panels. So my whole map was just covered with solar panels. It was crazy. Uh, I mean, it was fun, but you know, it had its drawbacks. And I was just starting to learn buses and things like that. I hadn't played any multiplayer. I started doing multiplayer. And then this map, eventually I started hosting my own multiplayer, and this was originally a multiplayer map. And of course, this is central. This was pretty much, well, right here is you spawn into the game. And there was, you know, like iron and coal and copper in this region, and just started from there. Seems incredible. You know, it kind of feels like, you know, a strange world that, you know, when you're pushing the boundaries, and, you know, when you had lasers or defenses right down in here, and now it's like miles away. You know, I'm not even sure I watched the demo video for Factorio. I might have. I don't know exactly what hooked me, what I saw, or, you know, whether I watched people playing it online. Oh, I forgot this is where I was traveling to. Need to remove a RoboPort here. This is an old border situation. Yeah, at one point this was my southern border. So I need to put up some requester chests. Just build some of this out RoboPort style. And then mine this stuff over here. And then let's see here. I need a RoboPort in there. Well, good thing I have some logistic bots. And probably going to need some of that over here at some point. Probably going to need another RoboPort. Those are having trouble charging. if I should put a couple more miners up here. I always forget I can do this with Q. Do this over here too. It's not the most prettiest thing on the planet, but keeps it in operation. I think multiplayer is probably the best way to learn the game. I mean, after you sort of get your feet wet by playing it solo for a while, really pick up a lot of good ideas, seeing what other people do. And you also meet a lot of people that just want to ruin your fun with griefing, but that's always unfortunate. So let's build that outpost. What do we need for that? We need 108 chemical plants. That's quite a number of chemical plants. Uh, 300 inserters. Ton of beacons, whole ton of pipe. Grab a whole ton of pipe. All those, stick them in here. 1,000 bots. I could use some roboports. Chem plants, where else? I feel like I'm doing this like every episode, filling up a train full of stuff. It's probably not the funnest thing to watch. But that's what the game becomes after a while. It's just bigger and better outposts. You're not building things by hand very often. Though what I'm about to build is somewhat a new thing. It's not going to be a complete replica. Part of it will be. Of each of those, 300 of each. Which pipe do I have on there? 200 and 200. I need 300. I don't really need a whole lot of curve sections, but you always never can have enough. In my opinion. That's 400. Always need a bunch of track, especially for a new build, so I'll just stick that all in there. Now I need a bunch more robo ports. And I probably don't have all the chem plants I need. So this is unusual for the parts. I never need a third car. 92 chem plants. Need a total of 108. Power, how am I gonna? Not bad. It's mostly solar station or power stations. How many do I have? 92, 108. That'd be 102, 10. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And why do I have belts? Oh, no, we don't need belts. Hopefully. Move those. Move those. I think that should be good. Definitely going to need a few trains. I'll say 3 coal trains. Roboports are good. Power is good. Lens are good. Oh, requester chests and 150 of each of these guys. I think that's pretty good. Well, take another handful of track. I was building out the red circuits when I totally ran out of track. I have the room. If I don't use it, I don't use it. Pretty good on signals, so we shall just call that good. Always come back. Another nice thing about waypoints is I can just select one here, northwest 3, 1 south. Northwest 3, 1 south, and I can just go to it. Zombie, how long have you been playing the game? Almost up to 11,000 rockets. Alright, how am I going to build this out? I don't think I need water for this build. Pretty sure I don't. Just petroleum and coal. So I'm going to need 2 stackers or 1. ballpark idea. It won't be there, it'll be further down. Just space that out right. Actually do a little bit more space. Just double size that stacker. Track. Oops. All right. This is exit row. Doesn't look too good, right? I guess ideally. That's where I want that to end. Really need to rip up the whole thing. Some of it. That's the basics of any outpost. This is really going to be one kind of squirrely thing. Because this kind of has to go that way too. Swells up. What's this going to look like? Somewhat like so. Do that right. Yes. Good. Do you want to copy this kind of pattern here? Do I have pumps? At one point I grabbed a whole ton of pumps, so I probably don't have them anymore. I can make a few. We need at least 8, probably more. Something like that. So one in. Station outputs. Oops. Kind of centered. Substations for that. And a track. Let's dump off some wood. Yeah. All sweet until that happened. Ready. This is not needed. In fact, none of that's needed. Let's dump out these parts. Beacons. Alright, that looks a lot better. Slow progress as I kind of rethink this outpost. Can't really do that, can I? Is that even ideal? One thing I forgot to bring are some tanks. Make 10. Probably need 8. This isn't ideal, is it? So my idea here is, of course, to unload petroleum on either side of this plastic factory. Maybe do the tank on each of those, something like so. Problem's going to be is I can't then put a underground right there. Maybe I don't have an exit row separate from the entrance row. Give me more space. And then do the same thing over here. Should I was gonna normally I do, you know, liquid on one side and then sort of have it share on the other, but that's not going to work here because I'm actually going to do input on the other side as well. So I suppose I should do something like that, because it will always be the inside plastic that gets used more than the outer plastic. So I'll always need more petroleum than the outer one. Why don't you guys have power? I run out of power poles. That doesn't seem like it should have happened, but handful. It would help to copy that. It's partially. Did set up the stacker kind of backwards. I could have set it this way. Well, we can refigure that later. If this is and the side. Share. All right. Oh, and one more robo port. Those fit for some reason, anyways. Like that, that'll work. Take those robots. Okay, well, close. I'm going to redo that stacker. Face it the other way. No sense having it sort of double back twice. least half that. Alright, I think we can switch back to our faster suit. Signals, or I do have only chain signals. Good. Alrighty. This could be ready to go. Forgot I was going to need a couple petroleum trains. Can I build? Nope. Gonna have to go back for that. We do need some coal train. Oh, I'm going to need a station in here as well. A couple stations. Plastic station 2. And it has power. Oh, can I make a roboport? Doesn't look like it. Shoot. Well, I'm going to steal one then. Everything equals 0. Rename that to train fuel unload. Right. Plastic station 2. So I need at least 2 petroleum trains. Probably 3 would be ideal. So there's always one kind of waiting. We didn't name those crude stations, or petroleum station. So this would be plastic 3, I guess. Plastic load 3. What do I name that other one? Plastic coal unload, so plastic, all that. Oops. Plastic coal unload. Oh, plastic 3. And then plastic 3 PG2. Or maybe I just name them plastic 3 PG. Yeah, that way if I make 3 trains, then they can all share that destination. So 1, 2, kind of 2.5. Why am I so full of stuff? And this stop up here is PG2. So PG2, inventory full, and plastic 3 PG, inventory empty. Copy that. Let's send it. Why do I put, I'm not quite sure, why do I have a front and a back engines? Is that the question? The question is, why do I double train? I'm thinking you mean because I have engines on both ends. So trains can go in one way to a station and out the same direction. So for instance, the train that comes in here has one engine on the front and one engine on the back. And so it can pull in and then it can also pull out without being stuck. So like all my stations, they have this train, they pull in, and then because the engines are also on the other side, it can pull back out instead of having to go out the same way it came in, or, you know, keep going. Does this make sense? Like, so as soon as this finishes unloading, now it can go back out. Otherwise, you have to have track going out that way. Make one more. But only 2 trains instead of 4 would have worked too. Oh, well, they accelerate faster with more train engines. Here, I'll show you. So you have a train, and it says, it actually doesn't show you, but there is an acceleration that each train can achieve. Of course, it's also dependent on the fuel type. Like if you hover your mouse over a fuel type, it says vehicle acceleration 250% for nuclear fuel versus wood, which is horrible. You know, but it, you know, of course, wood works. It's just really slow. And then have 2 vehicles linked together. Well, that's 500%. 3 vehicles, you know, 750%. So trains, you know, it's just how fast do you want your network to go. All right, so that should have my petroleum showing up. And we also need to get coal. Normally, generically, I just run my coal without names to the coal stations. But I think I might need to make some more coal stations. How's coal doing out in this direction? So what I do is I disable a coal station if it doesn't have enough coal. We will run a couple of coal trains, see what happens here. Oops. Probably should do 3 likewise. Coal. Inventory full plus plastic 3 coal unload, inventory empty. No. So I just pasted that into that one, but it's also in that one, and it's also in all these. You only have to set it for one of them, and it'll copy it to all of them. You mean each engine on one train having a different schedule? I don't think so. Well, you can't. So, like for instance, to say this one, I add, a random station, say that one. And I click on any of the other ones, they all have it. So you can't have them have separate. And if I delete it here, it's deleted here. And likewise, all these. So you couldn't have a separate schedule per train on an engine. Not quite sure why you might think that might be helpful, but whoops. All right. Probably should set up at least another coal mine. Yes. Yes. Is this my biggest Factorio project? Absolutely. My previous attempt, as I was explaining earlier, I didn't have uranium on the map, even though it was capable of being generated. There was just like a 2K patch in my beginning area, and then as far as I explored, I never saw any more. So I had to do everything with solar panels, and that was difficult. I mean, it was entertaining at the same time. I mean, a challenge. Yeah, but there was aspects of that base, you know, it was kind of my first time trying to do buses, and so I just didn't plan for enough room. So I wanted to do, you know, bigger and better. This one's certainly been that. What's my new little outpost doing? Heavily churning away. Yeah, that's the problem right there. These coal stations get disabled. Yeah, in fact, I'm using a lot of mods. I'm using what's called the far reach mod, so it means I can click way over here and open this, as well as click way over here and open that. Or long reach, maybe it's called. Let's see, open up my save games. So I have advanced solar, I have afraid of the dark. I'm not really using that except for the perfect night glasses. It just gives you better night vision. You can set up power poles that actually are light as well. So you can see it's kind of dark over here. Add that pole, it's already got a light attached to it. That's helpful. I was using that more in another build. Let's see. Auto deconstruct. That means go to one of my mining outposts. It X's out any miner that has no more ore left. So all you have to do is, you know, walk in there with your robots, and it picks, you know, your robots will pick them all up. What else am I using? I'm using equipment hotkeys. That allows me to enable or disable my roboports. So with pressing F2, and now my roboports are disabled. So like if I press, you know, if I put down some blueprints, my bots wouldn't put those down. Yeah, I mean, the base bots will still come to that. What that's mostly good for is for when you get into a vehicle, it automatically disables your roboports. And when you get out, it enables them. That's helpful. So, you know, you're traveling through your base, and like I have all those things, you know, auto deconstructed, those, you know, miners. If I drove by on a train, you know, and I didn't have my roboports disabled, all my bots would pop out and try to pick all those things up. And if I was traveling all the way across my base, I wouldn't see my bots for quite some time. So what else am I using? Noxie's multi-directional trains. Actually, that's disabled. There's an that actually allows. There's a bug in it, and so currently not using it. But you know how I have trains on facing both directions. Well, with Noxie's, you start moving forward, and the train that's facing the back is considered dead weight. It doesn't actually help you. But Noxie's flips it around so it faces the same direction. You should see the acceleration. So we were talking about acceleration with 2 trains in each direction. Imagine you have all 4 trains pulling in one direction. It's the acceleration's insane. But there's a bug with it because of the way it works. Is it has to disconnect the train, rotate it, reconnect it. Well, there's a couple problems. One is on curves. If the train comes to a stop while it's on a curve, it has problems reconnecting. And then also it has a problem of connecting to other trains. Like if there was a separate train sitting like right there, it might actually connect. Because if I press G there, actually it didn't work. But, you know, if that train was slightly closer, you know, like because there's rail signals or something, you know, even if these are 2 separate trains, but if through the programming code it wouldn't know, and it would just grab that train too. And So that was a problem. So I'm hoping that guy fixes that at some point. Yarm. This is my, let's go out so you can kind of see this. This is all my mines. And some. You can't actually see all my mines. This is just an easy tool for tracking your mines. Shows you how much ore is left in the mine, percent from the time since you first started tracking that mine, and then how much per minute it's mining and an estimation until it's depleted. And then you can shrink that down, and it only shows you the ones that are soon to run out. So you can start planning to get those trains that are going there elsewhere. And what else am I using? Air filtering. I was using that when my pollution was horrible. I actually had to turn off air pollution. I don't actually have air pollution enabled anymore because my UPS was just horrible with it. And then beautiful bridge railway that allows me to build train tracks over water. So I got tracks that go over across water. It allows you to put power poles on water, and it allows you to put rail signals on water. Doesn't allow you to walk on it, but it does enable you to build bridges basically across water. And long reach, I explained. Upgrade planner that allows you to basically, if you have a whole bunch of stuff, and then you can use upgrade planner. In this case, the fast inserters will get upgraded to stack inserters if I use this particular setting. Oops. So all I do is have to drag over that, and now they're all stack inserters. It's really helpful for upgrading belt, like from yellow to red and red to so like I got all this belt weaved right in here, all this red belt. I can do upgrade planner, set it to my belts. So here we're doing yellow to blue and red to blue, and all I have to do is upgrade planner on that, and now all those are now blue. So that's super, super duper helpful. Yeah, upgrade planners kind of cheaty, but at the same time, gosh, upgrading belts, by hand is so tedious. For people who normally don't have the chat box enabled, it would help if people could see that. So what am I doing? All right, I need to get some of my plastic trains from this. Plastic 3. Turn full. Right now I've launched 11,000 of them. So let's see. I'll just take a look at my rocket production. So the silos with green lights, they're active. Red lights ones aren't. Because I try to keep about 20,000 space science on hand. Oh yeah. No way can I sit there and do it all by hand. How do you launch it automatically? That's a setting. Where am I? I'll show you. So building the satellites here. So when it's building, you just check this box, auto launch with cargo. And then so as long as you have a satellite ready to be put in, you know, it will get loaded in when this gets up to 100% and ready to launch. So we'll just kind of watch that. Might have to turn down your volume. I've got game sounds kind of low, but these rockets go off, they're kind of loud. Oh yeah, I'm on mining productivity 429 if you can't see it in the upper right corner. Mostly that's the only one I do anymore, mining productivity. Since I disabled pollution, I am not attacked by biters anymore, so doing military research doesn't really help me. I did do artillery range for quite a while. Well, in fact, if you don't do research, then your game basically comes to a stop because all your machines, they have nothing to produce. I mean, all they're going to do is make stuff for your inventory, and what's the point of that? So you really have to keep researching to keep your factory requiring stuff. It's a good system. So you can see this rocket silos, you know, I don't have my hands on my controls at all. You'll see it launches automatically. it was red circuits yesterday. I rebuilt red circuits yesterday in like a 5-hour stream. So as you can see, the rocket's already labeled launched, and there it goes. I'm not really sure what my bottleneck is right now. It was copper for green circuits. I upgraded copper. I put in this new copper facility down here. This is my original one right here. That slowly got upgraded to 5 outposts. I put in 6 more outposts to do copper. Let's move away from those. Moving away doesn't help with the triggered one, but you won't hear anymore. And then green circuits was backed up. I made this, somewhere in there I made this a 2x3 to make 6 of those, but it still wasn't enough, so I made another one here in the south. This one's only a 2x2. Currently I have, this one is actually kind of lagging behind, but I'm not, I mean, here comes a train looking for some circuits, but if it goes in without any question, then there's enough there. And the only reason this is lagging behind is probably because I don't have a lot of trains supplying this. There's no iron in that one, no iron in this one, so that's kind of the hold up there. But I'm not too concerned about that right now. Iron is sort of lagging here. This will probably have to be changed soon. This one has 78K average. So times 5, that's really only about 250,000. That's not a lot. So it's probably iron's my next bottleneck, which is hardly surprising. Iron, it's been a while since I've worked on iron, so it kind of makes sense that iron's my next bottleneck. But last episode I just remade this red circuit build. So I've been kind of working on supplying that this episode by making a new plastic facility. We have 91,000 plastic in this new build already. Do you want to know how this is going here? I can see I've stressed this out a little bit already. Just adding, so it supplies right now 4 trains. How's this doing here? Alright, so light oil's not being cracked quick enough. So it's something I wanted to test. This is a new build of mine. I didn't really even crunch numbers on it. Heavy oil's fine. Light oil, I probably maybe ought to stick a couple more chem plants in here. No, I've not. I think that's more of a multiplayer fun thing, and I guess I just haven't found anybody to do it with. I mean, it's kind of like a tower defense, right? Except for you're doing Factorio. I've seen it done. Exterminator hosted some guys the other, probably a couple weeks back, maybe a little longer than that. This isn't horribly slow, but the fact that light oil's at nearly 100% could be a little more efficient. So I don't know what my rocket's time is. Currently I'm consuming 1.8 thousand science packs. Actually it's showing, yeah, I mean it's 1.8. It fluctuates, but it's 1.8. So what is that? Almost, you know, it's probably 2 rockets a minute average. Almost, or just under 2 rockets a minute. Oops. You're welcome, and thanks for watching. Pipes. I'm plenty good on pipes. I probably don't need so many. Let's see if I can work on that. Light oil cracking. How's my coal doing? Finally get to see this under production. It's uranium's mixed with coal. So probably to begin with, just yeah, that's right. Heavy oil. Let's see. Can't do that. Still can't do that. Goes figure, I brought enough to expand one side but not both. That's alright, I can hand make it. Oops. Really? That disconnected power to all that? Well, can need one anyways, probably. Oh shoot, I can't go there. I like that anyways. Hey. oil's at 0. And heavy oil's at 100. Of course, since I just made this, throw some more beacons at it. Well, there is a solution to that. Good to see all these refineries at full effect, so not sure if I really want to put circuits in this, but A. Put B. And then where those up to the pumps. This is if B is less than or equal to A. This one, switch that. A is less than or equal to B. Copy that to there. So that should even out the front tanks if they're lacking. Alright, well now heavy oils caught up, light oils. Water. Disconnect water over here. since I have all this coming off one pump. Are you kidding me? Did I have a radar over here I removed? I removed its power. Well, pretty much going to call it. One thing I want to do as soon as the train stops. But check out this. Station's empty. It's a really old station. It's still got a red belt. But that's going to be it for me tonight. Thanks everybody for watching, for socializing, hanging out. We'll catch you next time. I'm Dune, and this has been another episode of Factorio Megabase. Take care.